Well, good evening everyone. Welcome back to another stream to be Overthunk by Sharky. We are back for another week of Jaffa Factory. We should update that thumbnail at some point. That's that thumbnail's probably getting less and less accurate as we demolish more and more of the landscape. But we're back for things again. I don't know if we'll be doing any more landscape demolishing tonight. We'll definitely be doing some more Jaffa Factory building. We'll see how we get on with that. We're getting to the tricky part now, where we've got to start really sort of planning some things out and making some big design decisions, all these kinds of things. Alright, letting the world load in. There we go. Ooh, there's extra things in the chat there. We've got, there's an update for iron furnaces. Click for changelog, click for download. Wow, we're not even using iron furnaces. That mechanism tag's gonna come back to get us one day though. But here we are, back in the world of Minecraft again for a bit more Jaffa Factory. We did a lot of good stuff last time. If we have a quick look at the map, we really started mapping out kind of the footprint of the Jaffa Factory here. We've got our excuse me, we've got our road system taking place around here. We've got kind of this entranceway in here. As we head into the Jaffa Factory, we've got kind of entry courtyard, ground floor, as it were. The man that lives in the mountain, the Alpine Highlands guy, where is he? There. He's on borrowed time. I mean, we'll probably find a way to keep you there. I see you peeking. Well, that's super zoom. Yeah, we'll find a way for you to stay up there. Surely we don't have to absolutely get rid of things. I assume you're still alive. I can't see you in there. You're not outside wandering around. Hopefully a zombie hasn't come and gotten you. That would be terrible. And we're getting to nighttime already. Sun's going down. Well, that was a quick day. Let's have a nap. Get into it. So yes, we started putting down sort of the footprint, as I was saying, of the Jaffa Factory last time. We're going to continue with a bit more of that. We're going to sort of talk through and map out some plans excuse me, of what needs to go where. We've got our emu with bison in there, freaking them out. 365 emu eggs. One for every day of the year. Look at that. That's a lot of emu eggs. And a bunch of cows with no milk, because we've set up no milking for them whatsoever. Let me just do the path edge around here, just because I noticed on the map how thin it looks. Because this chunk here hadn't had its edge done, yet it's still just sitting there neatly. That might look a smidge better. There we go. That's a little bit better. We've still got to figure out something about the transparency of the copycat blocks there, making that look a little bit nicer. But that's a problem for another time. For now, we were thinking at the end of last time what sort of rate we should be doing these coloured strips at. I argued, and let me get up into jetpack mode. Oops. Watch out for those live power lines overhead. I argued last time that this is probably slightly too frequent. Once this is going all the way up, there's going to be a lot of coloured stripes. Like, I like the two of them close together like that, I think that's good, but there just seems like there's going to be a lot of them. So we were looking at maybe peeling them back to every second stripe. So I think I liked the idea of having two nearest to the door here as a kind of framing device, which would mean that one would have to go, and that one would go, we keep that one, but then that one would go and we keep that one. That one goes, we keep that one. And then we duplicate them on the other side so that they're opposite their partner. Maybe no stripe on that side. It can just be free of stripes. We should be thinking about maybe the possibility for other entrances to the Jaffa factory at some point. Like this is the main entrance of, like, you know, the visitor, the consumer, the general public coming in the front entrance here. But I always sort of had in mind, although I've done nothing to plan for it, that there would be like a service entry, sort of like for trucks and things, you know, like vehicles and stuff traveling along this road here. There'd be like somewhere they could like pull into here. We've sort of run ourselves out of room for that. Maybe that's going to happen around the back, as the road will sort of continue around and we'll travel behind there. Maybe there's like a kind of warehousey area at the back here, like there's a car park out there, or some sort of a slightly more industrial sort of setting behind the building, maybe attached to the building. Maybe we can open up a back section, have like a loading dock or something, just for sort of how that appears. We're gonna have to undercut this at some point. Also, what's that one random block doing here? That's embarrassing. Why have we got a single block? I bet everyone watching last week saw that one block floating there when we were talking about clearing everything out, but there we go. Done now. Yeah, like this bottom farm might have to go. I'd like to be able to try and keep his little overhang and keep some stuff going up here. That might be kind of fun. But we could definitely sort of go into here, even like a bit of an underground tunnel or something into the landscape. Like, we might be able to make this have a bit more of a natural edge rather than just such a clean cut, and kind of tunnel into the landscape a little bit. We'll have to see. So that's all future stuff. For now, yeah, let's investigate. Less stripes on the outside. Let's keep this going all the way around so that we can see if the stripe pattern actually maintains all the way around, or if we have to kind of do something dodgy. Put a bit of height to these walls, and then start mapping out some of the interior. I've got sort of various plans for the inside here. I'm kind of thinking, you know, as we come in, you come in your entranceway here. Over on the right here, this section sort of over here is like the visitor gift shop area or something. Like this is like the promo bit. You know, you sort of come in here, and this entry sort of way heads up here and splits off to two parts on the right, like, you know, entry exit, for like a whole sort of, you know, reception-y gift shoppy thing over there, something for the tourists. On this side, you'll have like sort of barricading here to like sort of entry aisles with like, you know, ticket windows and stuff, or whatever, where you can like sort of, you know, get your way into the Jaffa factory. And then once we come in here, this is where we'll see like various displays and sort of sections and machines that like look like they're doing things when actually they're not. It's just all appearance sake. They're just all giving the appearance of doing things. And as we head down this way, this is where we get to a little bit more of the kind of not quite behind the scenes, but this is a little bit more. Maybe there's well, it's not that there'll be a staff area here per se, but as we head down here, this is going to head towards stairs that we could take here that would take us up to the top of stairs here that takes us into level 2. And then as we come back around here, we would be we'll be up on level 2 now, where we will see, you know, other things taking place on this next layer of the factory, and things like that. So again, sort of all stuff sort of real, sort of for show. And what I'm thinking down here in these stairs that head up here, if we travel around behind the stairs, sort of in this dead space here, there'll be some sort of like a a passageway directly into the ground. There'll be a drop down from here that takes us down into like the underground basement area that's off limits to the general public. It'll have access to the underground cave system. Over here it'll have access down to the Mimic Cave, but it will also take us underground to underneath these zones here, where we've got like the real stuff going on, the milking machines, the all sorts of things, the scary underside of the factory. That's kind of like the real way all this is operating. So that's kind of my thought process so far. It's still a lot of things I haven't quite fleshed out exactly what's going to be on the floors, how many floors high this is going. I want it to be like a big imposing structure like the Jaffa factory. I also don't want this L shape to maybe continue indefinitely. I think this wing over here may only be the 2 stories high, this ground floor and then the first floor above ground, and then after that it just reverts to this big rectangular piece for the rest of the way. And that way, like on the top of this section here, we could have other things, like whether it's windmills or solar panels or an orchard of the orange trees for the Jaffas or something like that. You know, to use some sort of space on the top of these chunks here for something external to the factory. Okay, so that's kind of, let's turn that off now. That's kind of where we're thinking with everything. So we'll see just how much of that we can actually get done tonight. We've got all the bits with us, if we can try and remember what we were doing last time. All the bits we need to actually be able to make this stuff. So yeah, these bits on copycat walls, and that's just all this stuff here, and we must have, yep, all the other bits we need for this other bit, yep, in our bag with us. So that's fine. Alright, well let's take these strips out. We'll remove those ones. Continue on a bit more of that. Okay. Keep this one as well, but remove this one. Keep that one, remove this one. Keep that one, and remove that one. Oh, excuse me, it's just the sound of eating another golden carrot. How are we going now? 23 buckets of lava. Burning a hole in our pockets. Come around here. So, just for comparison, yes, it's this one to keep. It's this one to go. This one keep, this one to go. Okay, so it's nearly nap time again. I think that's looking a bit better. There's still like a lot of stripes, it seems, but they're slightly fewer. I think if we have any fewer than that, it's not going to look real good. Like, we could almost get away with not having one there and just letting that go the spanner there, but then 2 of those there without one there might feel a bit weird because that distance there matches that distance there, so you kind of need that to set the benchmark. It's a little bit unfortunate that there's not another one here, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's do a quick run for that bed. Accidentally pushed another hotkey. There isn't any wireless crafting grid in your inventory. And just like that, we've already got the spammers in chat. That's our first chatter too. No one's here yet. It's just us and the spam bots. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay. So let's kind of keep this chunk stuff going for a bit and see if we can map out what this is going to continue to look like. So within a chunk, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then that, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's awkward. Of course, because it's odd. Oh, because it's odd. So they're not chunk central. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. That, of course, is at the end of a chunk. That's now straddling chunks. Yeah, it's all a bit awkward, isn't it? Sort of the way that they line up like that. And there's no good way to solve that because the entrance door is that really 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is. I mean, but it's because we had one in there that we removed. So we could actually move a lot of this now. Because now that we're only having that sort of spacing, we could shift these along a little bit. Like that one could come back one. We should bring this back and so on and adjust these ever so slightly. We have to be really careful with our maths here though. So there's like a stretch of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we move that back along, that'd be a gap of 10. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, then the 11's the corner. Yeah. So it's 10 then to the corner. Sort of works. Like it probably look fine. In terms of how this looks here. So this is like 1, 2, 3. If I don't count that corner, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, what's the thing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's like 10 from there, not counting that corner, which should sort of match that. So that one could stay there like that. That'd be fine. But then this one's got to come up one closer, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It could come up one. Because, I mean, that's already quite close to the end. That doesn't even add up to anything. That's... yeah. Okay, so move that one along one, and move these two up one. And that way we've got spacings of 10. So if we had that, where would the next set of stripes be then? Right, over here. So if these came along one, so that's come along one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then these, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one, which would be bad, because then these wouldn't match on that side. How do we resolve that? Because it's the L shape that's doing it that's causing all the problems. Yeah, we need to decide sort of where along this section here the stripes go, and then we need to make them match on that side to travel through there, then have them match there. So we're gonna have to figure something out here. So this side ought to have 2 stripes on it, kind of like that one, right? That's the length of 2 chunks, effectively. It's not exactly, because we've got various things going on there. So if I'm counting corner to corner, let me bring up that. There we go. So let's see, block I'm looking at. So this is 60 by 92 all the way up to here to 60 by 60. So from 60 to 92, that's 32. So 33 blocks inclusive of each end. Up here, nowhere near that much. This is from 60 again, same 60 of course, through to this one, which is 35, which is only 26 blocks inclusive. So that one's always going to be slightly longer. That's just how this is. So within here, I've got 26 blocks. So if we use this one to kind of match this through, within here 26 blocks, which means if I'm going to have 2 stripes, that's 3 and 3, so that's 6. So that leaves 20 blocks. So we need a strip here, then the bit in the middle of them, and then the strip at the end. So unfortunately we've got to divide 20 blocks into 3 sections. If I don't count the corners, that makes 18, so that's 6. So not counting the corners, I've got to come in 6, then 2 stripes, then 6, then 2 stripes, and then 6. Now, that puts the stripes only 6 apart, and the next one would then be, of course, in line with here. So that's not how we want to do this at all. We want to have them early on, stripe, big gap, stripe, and then something like that. So with our 26 end to end, and our 6 taken for the stripes, leaving 20 including the corners, we might have, say, so if we had the gaps of 10, if we had a gap of 10 between them, that leaves us 16 and 16, so 8 and 8. Okay, that's still not much, because that would mean the next one is due practically in line with that. So you'd want more than 10. If you had 12, so 26, we had a gap of 12, so 26 taken by the 6 is 20, gap of 12, that's 8, so 4 and 4, including the ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so a stripe would be here. Okay. And then if we did 12, a stripe would be close to there, and then another stripe would be a bit close to the end. So let me mark them out with the copycat blocks. Let me first, for anything else, go and put a tiny bit more charge. Just take this off, take that off. Tiny bit more charge back in this jetpack, because it's gonna go dud while we're busy looking at stuff. There we go. So if I put some of these down just to kind of get this mapped out. So I said 4 like this, and then we go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then 12, I believe. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then bam, bam, and then bam, bam, and that should leave us 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like we had over here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So at that line of things, and I'll just do that. He says desperately try not to do the entire wall, but he's doing it anyway. In fact, I'll take a nap first. Okay, so this line, continuing that through, we've got oranges at the end of this. Blues at the end of that. Okay, and then a gap of 12 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, yep, this one here. And then 4 would take us to that corner, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, which is in line with that, which is in line with that corner. That's good. So if we keep the 12 counting from here, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in these two spots there. Okay, which would have to track through here to these ones. Already done that incorrectly. These guys button heads. Right. And just for what it's worth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 internal ones, maybe an 11, but yeah, like that wouldn't look too unusual visually. And then if we keep the 12 going from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's here and here. Which gives it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the corner. You could almost argue for a stripe there, but it wouldn't work because that's even. Yeah, that's 8. No, definitely can't. So, oh, that's right. Now Jetpack's on charge. Let's go get it. That's why I can't hop in the air. Nope, that's the computer. That's the metallurgic infuser. There we go. So, at that kind of... oops, that's too high. At that kind of spacing. Now, we have to adjust this to 12, I guess. And what's this feel like in terms of 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, 12, 13, 14. So we're sort of breaking the rules there a little bit. And this is only 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So in fact 12, I'd actually want to go a long one more. Which gets a bit neat to that corner, but maybe that's okay. So what did we get from here? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If that was across one more, including the internal corner. Because of course the other thing that this is going to impact is the back now, which ought to match these. So regardless of the spacing, that one around there's got to match that one. So there's got to be one through here. Like that's non-negotiable. This line. And of course, yes, because I've got to realize they've got a mirror. So these are the wrong way around. You know, it's got to be from the outside, orange on the right, blue on the left. So, yep, they should mirror on opposite sides, not match, which I've done incorrectly, but that's fine. So that's them. So that's a must. And then the same with this. So this is also a must. But then we can define our spacing as we like from there, right? So this is way more than 12. And that is only like 11 or something. So if that's matching that, what's the internal bit around the corner here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 internal to the corner. So if we did a similar sort of thing here, because that's of course the same distance there, so the wraparound here versus the wraparound here. So if there's the corner, and it's orange first, yeah, so if here's the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 internal to the corner, which would be there and there. That would set that at the same distance from there. Now, moment of truth, what does that line up with? Oh, look at that. That is acceptable, I think. It's 2 across. So that would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Unless we move that one across. But if we move that one across, we have to move that one across. Which would make that 1, 2, 3, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Count the corner 12 if you're not counting the corner. But if we move that one across, that would move that across. And if we move that across, that would upset that one, which would upset that one. So yeah, we can't. That's got to be there for that one to match that one to match that one, which just means that's got to be a slightly bigger spacing there. So these two are just whatever they are. Yeah, so it's not going to be mathematically exact around, is what we're discovering. There's just no way to make this perfect. It's just going to be where the stripes fall. It's just going to be to the eye. Yep. Okay. Let's do this then. Let's fix these up. So those ones are locked in. That one needs to get corrected. So that lines up with that. Within these ones we need orange there, and so therefore orange there. Seeing them side by side like that's making me wonder whether they would be nicer together. I'm not sure that it would. I mean, it's hard because they're busy with stuff on either side. But I think we trust our instinct and we go with the spacing. Time for another quick nap on the factory floor. Okay. Throw up some more bits and bobs there. And these got shuffled across, or they will. No, in fact, not that at all, just that. Okay, so I think we just lock that in. We just trust the process. And we just say that we're going to accept that. As it is. Whoop. First block misplaced. Okay. So from the map, looks quite nice. It appears to be visually sort of equally spaced around. To the eye, I think it looks fine. These two are a little bit close, but you can kind of forgive that for the wraparound. But I think this is good. You've got these two on sort of this short bit here. You've got these two on that short bit here. You've only got one here. You've got two on that side. I think we lock that in. So, oh wow, we're getting low on that, aren't we? So what we can do because that's down at that height. Yes. Although these are going to get in the way. I'm just seeing a gigantic copy paste. These power poles and everything in this line, this block. No, this misses it. Great. So it's just these power poles here. Apart from them, the rest of this is a giant copy pastable thing. Copy. like if I start here and go copy, and go over to here and hit copy on that there. So we've got a little bit of power pole action here, which we can ignore. Apart from that, if I go into paste, look at the materials list. So we can't copy the copycat blocks, of course, but it can lay down all that loco metal. So 388, however many stacks that is. But that gives us a sense of just how much of that we're going to need to put on a few more layers of this and put a tiny bit more height to this. So let's have a look at some of that, because that's going to take a lot of iron. We should be getting a good bit of iron. Yeah, we've got like 900 iron there, but we're also going to have loads of it in the system over here. The gold machine that also makes iron as a byproduct. Yeah, we've got 2,000 iron in here. There we go. Now I've got 1,000 iron in there. So we'll go and dump all that in the computer. There we go, 1.8k iron. So, we've got to remember, we got them bookmarked as well, I forgot about that. We've got to remember our recipes for how we're doing this. We need a bunch of brass. That's right. So let's make ourselves a stack of brass. Which we've already got a stack of brass, never mind. Let's use a stack of brass. So it's the white slash loco metal, so we've got to dye the ordinary loco metal, so it's riveted. Yeah, so we've got to take a stack of iron blocks, don't we? That's how this starts. Yep. We start like that. Yeah. Using 600 iron to make a stack of iron blocks, and then it begins from there. So in here, that turns them, yes, into 8 stacks of the riveted loco metal. Then, no, back in here again, yes, we turn it into slashed loco metal, I think. Yes. Slashed loco metal. Okay, slashed. Right. Then it gets dyed. Gets dyed and surrounded by brass in whatever order we like. In fact, we could surround it by brass now, honestly. There we go. So now we just need a stack of dye, a stack of white dye. Ah yes, and our means for getting white dye, that's right, we're haunting black dye is is charcoal, which is cooking logs. So I'm reminded of these guys in all that. Yep, 69 of them, 69 of them. Nice. So charcoal. We do have a stack, but again, let's let's produce a bit more. So we've got to turn a bunch of that into charcoal. Should check in on all this, I guess. Almost 10k for the pair of them, 4k for the granite, 19k for the cobble. I mean, we did say at some point we'll just change these iron stack upgrades to gold stack upgrades, and then that will just solve this problem. In the sense that it won't be a problem for a very long time. And then we turn that into the black dye, and then we haunt the black dye. There we go. And that's our loop to get white dye out of just our endless supply of logs. Speaking of, we should check on how those logs are actually faring. So, like, this is the coconut one. Yeah. Yeah, look, there's another 2,000 logs in there. Nearly 3,000 logs. So it's fine. We've got so much log. Have a quick nap. Ah, good evening. There's Katooth in the chat there. Thought I heard Discord about an hour ago but couldn't see a message, so thought the sound must have come from something from YouTube you were watching. It's always the way, isn't it? There's always like a wild Discord notification from the background of a YouTube video or something. Also, caught myself right before I dyed the computer white, because we're getting good at that. There we go, just throw the extra white dye in there. Make a bunch more of that. So this is another 8 stacks. In fact, it's 4 short of being 10 stacks when it's all said and done, which means it's 4 short of being 640. And for the copy paste, we only need 388. So 640 is more than that, but it's less than 2 of them. But that's fine. Let's go over here and let's at least paste one more layer on the top. Oh, of course. I didn't have to worry about these telegraph poles because they're copycat blocks as well. So of course they didn't get copy pasted in the template. Even better. All right. Let's right there. That should line up. Let's go bam and watch that build. It's happening. It's happening. Look at that. An extra 2 layers. Nice. The question is, how high do we want the floors to be? I feel like the ground floor doesn't have to be as high as some of the other ones. Maybe it should be. Hard to say. Should the lower foyer floor actually have quite a high ceiling, then the others be relatively low, or vice versa? Either way, I think we need another layer. We still need another layer. Which means we still need more of that brass metal. So, that brass wrapped loco metal. I say we do it all again. Make another 8 stacks of this. Let's just sit this in the bag for now, just so it's not in the way. But, whoops. Let's just repeat that exact loop we just did, because that wasn't too taxing, except for the fact that it was taxing on the iron. I mean, yeah, it used 600 iron up, basically, in order to do that process. As well as all that brass. But that's fine. Bam. Another 600 iron used up. So we need that. We're going to need... let me get some of them logs, so that I can have that on the go. So that's going. I'll change all that into the riveted stuff, change it all into the slashed stuff. Now, last time we just used the stack of brass that was here, but I feel like we should make ourselves some brass. And brass was mixing, yeah, so a stack of copper and a stack of zinc gets 2 stacks of the brass. So, a stack of zinc, a stack of copper, and we also learned within all that something about 1 bit of coal did half of that, so we only needed 2 bits of coal, but we have to empty it. So in terms of how much feeding that blaze needs, that should do like half of that. I don't want to put that coal on there. What would happen if I put that on there? Nothing. Okay. So that's just going to go through and create a bunch of brass. We've got to make sure to take it out before we feed the next one, because we discovered that last time, that when it had 64 things in it, it didn't produce any more, and then we wasted half of the coal. So while that cooks away, we can get that. We'll just wait for that stack to finish. We can get the other one going, and then that's enough to make this one. Where'd the blaze go? Can't even really see his little face. He must be there. He is. Oh, and now he's out. Right as we get the 64. Perfect. So take the 64 out. Fortunately, that takes everything out too. There's probably a better way to do that doesn't actually take everything out. Feed you, and you'll do the rest. But we've got what we need to get going. We can send one of them into the computer. We can, well, let's just do it simply. There we go. And now we've got enough for another copy paste layer. There it is. Look at that. Beautiful. And we don't have enough for another one. Although we are extremely close to having enough for another one. We're 16 short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12 more. 6. So 6 stacks plus 4 is enough to do the whole thing. Okay. Oops. I just disabled my free runners. So I think that's a good maximum internal height. Right, that's hugely high. That's where we can sort of start having ceiling level for the next floor up. From there, I reckon we'll go get that other brass out of there, just so we can put it back into the thing. Nice. There we go. We're back to net 0 brass. We'll do a bit of manual copycatting. So can I reach this? I can. Let's just run around, do a lap around, do all the oranges. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's just hover. Make it a smidge easier. Although it's slower to move. Unless I do that. Zip along. Internal corner would have been faster, but that's fine. We're on the outside now. Whoop. Forgot about that. Oh, what have I done? Oh, I've put the whole solid blocks in. Ah, dear. Let's just have a nap. Nap with the jetpack going. We'll make ourselves think clearer. There we go. Lap would be quicker on the inside. That's exactly what I said. Yeah. Now that I'm on the outside, there is no way to get in to this roofless structure. Indeed, not even slipping in through the empty blue sections. We have no choice but to continue zipping along the longer outside route. Oh, of course, that was going to happen. Didn't even notice. We're using the wrong tool on that too. Though it looks like it would have worked with an axe, just was going slow. So, was that enough for that last one? We actually did that exactly and then ran out. Okay, sure. Which means, theoretically, and look at this, 36, 36, it's like we had just enough always. If we were to reverse course, we should run out at exactly the same point. That's where we started. We just make a bunch more of these. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam. That one there. And then this one. 2, 3, 4. Okay, fully out of them. Right, we just got that strip to go. Whoops, that was the wrong button. I meant to do that one. Because, yes, I didn't think I had any more walls in there. That's fine. And we've landed on the power lines. So, we've got to remember how we made more of that now. So, copycat walls is just zinc. That's fine. We'll get a stack of zinc out of the other thing. The concrete, though, yes, is just concrete. Is just washing concrete. Is just that, yeah. So, and of course, it makes 8, which is an insane amount. So if I had like, yeah, 4 stacks of sand, 4 stacks of gravel, that would end up making 8 stacks of this stuff. So I'd have half a stack of each of the dyes. So what have I got in terms of sand and gravel? 4 stacks is 256. I do technically have 256. I feel like I should make some more though. Because again, you don't want to fully just... no. Don't want to fully expend all resources. Okay, let them crush. We need half of stack of each of the dyes. So 32 of them, 32 of them. To get 32 of that and 32 of that. Two of those stacks can go back in to get recrushed into sand. So when that comes through, we'll have 2 more stacks of gravel and 2 more stacks of sand. So that halfway makes up for what we've done. So that's fine. That'll take its time. So that's a bunch of that. So we needed a stack of zinc. To turn back into a stack of copycat fences. Here we go, and you're down to 10 carrots. Let's make a few more carrots, maybe. And it's copycat wall, not copycat fence. There we go. Carrot. Seeing as though there's 2 and a bit thousand of them. Surround a carrot by gold nuggets. So we need a bunch of gold nuggets. $63. Good enough. There was carrots in the computer. We didn't need to do that. There we go. 73 more golden carrots. Nice. This should all be done now. With all of its extra bits. Yes, now we do have 1 extra die, so I'm just going to take those out, just so the maths works out. Put all of these things in. And now we go for the concrete powder. Make 4 stacks of that. And take one of those out and make, there we go. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I'm forgetting what I'm doing here. Right. So I had to make 4 stacks of them. Okay, and then these just need to be washed and then mason workbenched into the smooth stuff. So we just have a ton of washing now. So 4 stacks of these is miles. Like that might be all we ever need for the whole factory. Okay, so we'll massively multitask this. So that's the smooth one. Okay, and then that should be done, or about to be done any minute now. There we go. Swap that out for that. Back to the bench. Smooth. Okay, smooth, smooth. Right, we're going to get back well faster than it takes each time. Don't have, no we don't. Okay, that's all the blues. At least that'll be the last blue there. Okay, and then we just work our way through the orange. Feels like it's nap time as well, so let's do that. Use up a little bit more time. Put the next one in there. How's the world clock going? Look at that, day 252. You can't really see that, but right there, there we go. Right there, day 252 in terms of in-game Minecraft days. Smidgen over 8 months. Let's check on how this is going while we're here. 9.5, 9.4, they're similar. Andesite and diorite. Granite's definitely going up, but if memory serves, when we took one off it before, it went down, so that's fine. Cobble feels like it's going down slightly. That's at 19k flush, but it was 19 something before, but that, again, that's fine. Katooth says, I don't believe for a second that months are the same length in Minecraft world. I mean, it's actually almost pretty close to the real world time when you think about it, because we started this again, as I say, about Christmas last year. So we've been going 3.5 months, coming up on, give it another week or so, we'll be coming up on 4 months of having been doing this, which means it's only at about double the speed. No, you're right. Minecraft wouldn't use a number like 30. You're right. Exactly. Months would have 32 days in them. Half a stack. Half a stack of days would be a month. Okay, so that's just an absolute ridiculous amount of those. So we'll just stick them in there and let us go and do the rest of these that we were unable to complete before. So yes, it was these internal corners. And would you look at that? Somehow we're on the inside now. Oh. That's backwards. Yep, these two are backwards. What have we got in the chat there? Second months would have to be based on moon phases. Oh, you're right. Just looked it up. Moon phases are an 8-day cycle in Minecraft. Cubic. So you've been going for over 30 months. Wow, moons go on an 8-day cycle. So a month is... A lunar month is 8 days long. So I've been going over 30 lunar months. Wow. And now it's raining. So look at that. Good work. So, like what? So 2.5 lunar years, as it were. Assuming that there are 12 lunar months to a lunar year. Phase equals day mod 8 plus 1. Yep, makes sense. Alright, and so then that bit there. Okay, which matches that now. And that should be done. Yep, which means we just come back the other way now. So day 252 is phase 5. So new moon. Really? I mean, it's also daytime at the moment. And it is still day 252, yes. So you won't see the moon until nighttime, because that's how Minecraft works. The sun and the moon are antipodal within the sky as they do laps around the flat Earth that is Minecraft world. The sun and the moon rotate on opposite ends, diametrically opposed of a sphere that rotates around us. So I will not be able to see the moon until the sun sets. At which point it will either be a new moon or technically the day after a new moon, depending upon just how this counts. So we can check that out when it's night. If we remember, make sure we don't accidentally sleep. So I'll just come out here so I can get my vantage point. Right, we're getting some substance. There's actually a bit of factory Bit of factory going on now. Alright. In terms of differentiating factory floors, I think if the outside shouldn't just be flush all the way up. That's partly why it indents to colors and things like that. So the same is true for floors and things, right? So we come up and we've got an internal ceiling. So on the inside it's going to sort of be flush maybe with everything. But on the outside there should be a way to see that the new floors are taking on. Should have a slightly different color block to externally indicate floors. Well, I was wondering whether I do a little bit of overhang again, kind of like what I've got at the bottom here with the stairs. If I completely replicate that effect up as an overhang up the top on a new floor, like for example, let me just get some of these, and again hover. That's the wrong way. How would I do this? Like that. Like that sort of thing. But of course, actually that is now one block too low. Because I would want to see that yellow edge under it. But anyway, but something like that with just the solid black block there, and then again with that on the top. That's way too chunky. That's way too much for a floor divide. That would be like, that's the floor layer in there. Yeah, having that sort of thing's huge. I want to not have that middle bit, just the top and the bottom. Make it thinner. So if it was just like that. So it has We'll make a horizontal stripe similar to the red and blue that is inset. You're right. An inset stripe. That's a good call. Because this is, at its thinnest, that's still feeling chunky. That's still feeling pretty chunky. Also, moon. Moon. Now the sun's only just setting. The moon's behind that mountain at the moment. So could we, what does the wall look like? I mean, we're gonna have this sort of effect because it's now going actually the way a wall is meant to go, unlike these, which are tiles, because the wall's not meant to go up like that. So we get that kind of tiling effect. Yeah, I did like the idea of a thin walkable balcony, because some of these might actually have balcony edges that you might want to come out to. Where's that moon? I'm also conscious of mobs spawning. Let's just go up a bit so that we can see the moon. Or attempt to see the moon. Because it's meant to be a new moon. Although the higher we go, the more mobs are going to spawn. Where is this moon? Come on, moon. We're getting so high that we're above the clouds now. We're so high that we can see that tower. It's because it's raining. The rain's going to obscure any kind of new moon. This is annoying. We'll have to sleep and try again tomorrow night. Because the moon's just not going to be visible. Plonk. Alright, sleep. And while we're sleeping, we'll get rid of that auto mod chat thing. Back to game. Okay, so single layer edge, and I'm gonna leave that fence there. Oh wow, yeah, like look at all these guys. See what happens when we let it stay night? Things spawn everywhere. Let's see. So if I had just that. It's just that. So get rid of all this bit here. Wait. No, that's gonna vein mine all that too. Still gonna vein mine all that. That's better. Oh, of course there's a bit that's fallen down there. So, I mean, there'll be a solid block behind here perhaps. But something like that as a stair strip all the way around there, which gives a tiny walkable balcony edge that may extend out into other balcony stuff from there. There was copycat slab, right? Like, yeah, like copycat slab. So like, you know, this gives us the option of things like, oh wait, no, that slab's facing entirely the wrong way. Not like that. Slab the other way, please. Oh, that was the end of that pick. How do we do this? No. Like that. So like that. So like... No, not like that. I need to be in the block. No, I need to be more in the block so it can't go there. Like that. That's the slab I'm trying to do. Oh dear. Okay. So that gives us, although it looks weird underneath when we do that now, but that gives us the ability to, you know, extend this out into a platform, not all the way around obviously, but like, you know, this gives us a, oh yeah, that looks funny underneath now because of what it's doing with stairs. Not at all sold on that. Oh, that's the jetpack going flat. Let's replace that one up. Yink. Let's put a bit of charge back in those free runners too. Seeing as though we've been doing a lot of crash landing. So what have we got in the chat? What have you been saying here, Tooth? Does that grey stripe the whole way not work? Maybe it did. Might look good with the orange blue extending behind it, give it more 3D feel. I think it was better without the extension. Yeah, the extension was definitely messing with things. That whole bit jutting out, like as I say, we wouldn't do that all the way around. I'm just imagining whether there's an option higher up on upper levels to have like a little balcony area that comes out in some situations, but not if it makes it look like that underneath. That was about the stair version that currently has a visible gap behind the orange bit. Yes, I see that. The orange blue extending behind it, giving it a more 3D feel. Perhaps. If the orange went one higher, it'd look more realistic. Yeah. Well, here's a different idea. Here's a different idea that is similar to that and yet different. So pulling this platform out like this on the top of these things that are making them go a bit funny. What if we smash all this, drop these stairs down one, nothing fell inside, no. So drop these stairs down one. That's not stairs. Yeah, that was weird how that happened. Oh, no. And of course, because these are walls, they now completely change their texture when they do that. They now completely change from that to that because they're now touching a block. So that's already a concern. Let me start by just breaking this and this, despite us talking about having these be like that. So imagine if I just did the solid concrete here. How would that look? You know, like that. And then that would sort of peek through like that, so that keeps that texture connected like that. And doing that so that we would now have stairs here. So this is me imagining. So I've got my roof block, which I don't know. For now, let me just to be different. Let me put this in for now as just like roof block, as it were. That's the next floor. Oops. That's the next floor kind of thing. Alright. So, you know, this is the next floor coming through, whatever it is. And so there's an option from this floor to come out here and slab on the top of this as opposed to the bottom. Again, that's the wrong slab. I need the slab to do that. There we go. Does that break the texture? Because again, copycat blocks are weird. If we do these, so if we wanted at some point higher up to have a platform, like this is just our natural edge, but this would allow us to have a platform extend out that from the inside you could step down onto some sort of a platform. So don't imagine this happening all the way around at every level, right? That's not happening. But maybe like higher up on some upper level somewhere, there's an opportunity somewhere around the walls to have an outcropping somewhere. And that would be a way to do it, where all the textures still appear to connect. Even on the sides they appear to connect. Alright? In terms of the actual level breakups, you just wouldn't have this bit here. Right? If I take all this off now, which of course I can't vein mine because it would take the bottom one off, so I've got to break these one block at a time. I'm also letting it go to night just so we can see the moon come up again. Now if I take all that out, here we go. So the celestial plane is rotating around us. Sun's setting, so there must be a moon back there somewhere. So from the ground, right, that's what you'd see. That's a kind of transition at the layers. Sort of a strip like that. Puts a bit of shadow there. I'm not sure about how I feel about the darkness of having a whole black one like that. Also, the white carrying, the yellow trim carrying up there, I feel like needs to end lower. So I'd want this higher to be flush with the floor level anyway. There's that moon up. Yeah, there it is. There's our moon. Look at that. You called it Katooth. Day 253, which is day 6, which is one of them boys. So there must have been, yes, a genuine new moon last night that we just could not see because of that weather. So let's pop a bed down, have a nap before all of the wildlife comes out. So how does that feel? So ignore those flint blocks up there for now. That's just the next floor. This sort of a thing. I feel like that's quite dark. The black edge. I don't know if I want to do a gold edge though in its place. It would allow for a better connected texture. What will the roof material be? And by roof, do you mean ceiling of each floor? Because that's also, there's also, yes, there's also the double layering kind of it. Yes, good job. There's also the double layering effect here, because this floor is going to be presumably the same as the floor of the next floor, but I don't necessarily want this to be the ceiling. So the floor ceiling will be 2 blocks thick. So you've got a block for the visual ceiling here, and then you'll have this block again for the new floor on top of that. So yes, we ought to work out what a ceiling block would be, and that's the sort of thing that could continue through to here. Could just use carpet to avoid that. I absolutely could, except I want to use up these blocks because I had bajillions of them. Let me Let me just see what happens if these are that. Which means I need these back again. Does this connect? So it does. That does connect the texture through. Get a little bit of all the edging happening like that. You smash all those, put a few more down. So that sort of thing, like it just keeps the same palette going, as it were. But and so this would need to be one lower. Like that is the next floor there. Underneath that is the ceiling block for this floor. So that's an option. Another option that comes to mind is, what if these kind of slabs that I was accidentally doing before, but actually on purpose? And again, I'll have to swap these for the full blocks because they're gonna go funny. That sort of thing. Like, it's slightly more subtle than the stairs. It's just effectively a strip. It does technically connected texture run through. It's kind of hard to notice because of the shadowing. But just a stripe like that at various levels, just to add a bit of out, so you've got like the indent of the stripes, and you've got like the out dent of the floors. Like, is that a more subtle version of the step scenario? Perhaps. Let's grab those blocks on there. I like the subtle strip. Yeah, it's growing on me. Yeah, but at one height I don't think it'd work as too high. Yes, no, I wouldn't make it too high. So the strip would need to line up with the ceiling level of this level, whatever the ceiling level is, which for the time being I'll just put as this, just so we can tell that that's ceiling of this floor. Okay, it won't be that, but it'll be something. And then above that, so if I grab all of this back, so this is more of the next floor. We would need to push those colours up one more as a solid block, or else things with the fences wouldn't work. Or would they? No, they wouldn't work. And so then the rest of this now just returns to its regular depth. And we go back to the walls from here now. That kind of thing. So, let me fix all that chat spam in there. Get rid of that one, ban that one, and that one. Okay. Something like that. So you get your strip through there. Can't be done without the orange blue blocks on the floor level. Kind of ruins it. Like, oh yeah, so what happens here? Yeah, so down here, the black floor continues through into there, but then that's visible. Like if I try and put that in there. Oh, it only does it on that bit. It didn't do it all the way up. That's interesting. Yeah, you get like a weird... You get like a single iteration of the actual wall shape. So all that's coming about because of having two layers of transition, having a block for ceiling for this level, and then having another block for floor for the level above. It can't quite replicate what we're doing on the ground floor here. Could also replace the black blocks directly inside them with a doodad feature of some sort, like decorative pot plants or pipes or something. And they're not touching the wall. Yeah, these blocks right here. Yeah, so externally, we just get that. We just get the seamless transition. Alright. Makes me wonder whether I actually replace that copycat slab just from an outside point of view. And this might look a bit weird. What if that? And then similarly here. What if that? And quick nap. Like that. What if the orange-blue stripe, uninterrupted, continues on the outside, so it steps out? Like this one here. Is that too much out? You could also just do it without, but then it would be in, out, so that'd look a bit weird. Yeah. If it's out, it's got to come all the way out like this. It couldn't just come half out. That'd be indents within indents. So that gets the outside happening. You kind of get a transition of levels there. In terms of the inside, so because of that, yeah, we still need something in here that means that technically doesn't touch this. But I feel like basically any block that goes here is going to touch this. Erase the silver block too. And that's where cables come through. Oh. Oh, between the floors. Interesting. So stuff runs up there to the next floor. Like you could have a cable running along the wall edge and shoot up there or something. Okay, I could see that. Because there are options for a lot of things other than just cables. Cables is certainly a thing. It would be important that whatever it is, it becomes a block that the wall doesn't touch. So from the outside, you don't notice, really. I am also conscious that you can see the internal tile right at that point. So we might already need to be doing something about that anyway. Which might be the thick block, the full-size block, I think, underneath. Let me explore with a few things then. So things that could be considered cables that might go through there. So refined storage cables, basic universal cables, potentially shafts. I want to check those three things out. If we make it go down out of sight, it'll make it seem like there are lower floors, even if there aren't. There will in fact be lower floors, but I'm not sure I want people on the ground floor to know that there are lower floors. Let me get a bunch more shafts. There we go. So let me just test out shafts. I'm gonna put that jetpack back in there again real quick. And cable. Yep, a bit of ME cable, a bit of basic universal cable. I want to test both of those out. See what they look like. Whether or not the wall will connect to them. That's the wrong way. That way. You know, that sort of thing. Imagine them spinning. But that works. That allows you to transfer mechanical power from one floor to another across the create machines. And it doesn't touch the actual basic universal cable. Yes. So if we wanted to transfer electricity from one up to another, that works. That doesn't touch. I expected to make it look like a factory, but instead you've created a fire station. That is true. It's just because it's stationary. Imagine this spinning at like a jillion RPM. It may also still look like a stationary pole then, but you get the gist. What if we similarly had this sort of cable? So that also travels through without touching anything. So both of those are successful proofs of concept. So I'm liking this idea as a way of doing that. I can see that working. Let's just go get the jetpack back. It's tricky because we're trying to create the framework for a factory without there being a factory yet. Also, until you finish, you'll be able to jetpack between levels. That's true. I can keep them open and I can just zip up between levels. There is also something else that I am interested in making, and I don't know how I'm going to use it in the factory, but I would like to investigate using it. And that is the hypertube. And if they can fit up there without connecting to the wall blocks, that would also be perfect. Now, this is just brass sheet and glass panes, so I can already make them. Smart sheet cogwheel. I thought I would have to make a lot of other stuff before I could make these. Let me just make some of these now and just have a play with them. Brass sheets, glass panes, and I've got all that over there. Glass pane, as in, that's glass pane? Yeah. Okay. And brass sheets, we've got a bunch of them. Okay, we have one of them. Squashing grass, okay. Yep, now we got a bunch more of them. Ooh, flowing water or lava could also go down one of the holes. You're right. It could just be, yes, a stream of liquids. It could be a stream of chocolate milk. It could be a stream of liquid orange jelly. Like, yeah, we could do all sorts of things. Because we've also got to keep in mind, and I can't see it because of my enormous fan, we've also got to keep in mind that from the outside, this is going to happen on every single strip. Every single blue-orange is going to have this outside effect. But inside, yeah, shades of Willy Wonka to this. The Jaffa factory is not that far away from a chocolate factory. From the outside, they're all going to look like this, but from the inside, those holes don't necessarily need to have the same thing at every single hole at every single point, right? It could be like power and cables in one bit, and like water and lava in another bit, and like chocolate and orange in another bit, and stuff like that. We could conceivably have different things at different holes, right? Like that's allowed technically. So let me make 16 of them. And what do we need for this? We need kelp, we need cogwheel. There's a kelp. Only a small cogwheel, which I believe is just that. No, that's a large cogwheel. Well, in that case, let me make 2 small cogwheels. There we go. Oh, a smart chute. Oh, no, it needs things. A chute, a brass sheet, an electron tube. That's a nap, that is. Oh, excuse me. Well, I've got extra bar sheets. Iron sheets and iron. I should have some iron in this chest at all times, just because that's handy to have. And that's a pipe. That was a chute that I was trying to make. Here's a bunch of chutes. And so then we just need this electron tube, which is another iron plate, and polished rose quartz, which is this whole thing again. Yeah, with the sandpaper and whatnot. There's the sandpaper. Let me put some of this stuff back. That can go back, that can go back. I need another iron plate. Okay. Put the sandpaper back. Once we take it out of our hand, put the sandpaper back. One more iron sheet. Okay. Right. So, experimenting. I have no idea how these work. I've seen them in action. Let me put down a hyperblock. Let me put down, I don't know, another hyperblock. How do I connect these? Aha. Aha. Right. Hyperblocks. Connected. Amazing. Now, if I put an entrance block somewhere, like that, the entrance block needs turning with cogs. Alright. It's currently not enough speed, 0 RPM. Sneak to enter, automatic lock mode. Manual lock mode, sneak to enter. Yep. So I need to set this up next to a cog to see it in action. So let's break all that. Let me just put, and of course these don't stack now because for some reason they've gone weird. Can I just put this next to a cog? A nice low cog. Like one of these ones. Hello, cow. Some of these are quite fast, but it's of course spin in a funny direction. Just about there. Look at that little cog. Aha! There we go. Okay. It's at moderate. It's doing some stuff, and if I change it to that, I don't have to sneak to enter. My tube is too short to travel. Right, that's fine. I'll just stick some more tube on it. And I'll start by clearing that chat spammer again. So popular, so many people wanting to spam our chat. Okay, so up here. Let's be exciting. Let's connect that to that. Okay. Alright. So that should mean... Oh, can I just fully walk through this? Yeah, because it's not a real block. That's interesting to know. Okay, you can just fully walk through these because they're not really there, those blocks. It's only the ends that are actual blocks. But first test flight, as I get closer, that door opens and the suckertron begins. Let's see what happens. There we go. Let's do it in F5 mode. So this way. Ready? In we go. Whoop. There we go. Ah! Straight into the Haunter. And it took me out of F5 mode as well when I came out the other end. Boop, boop. Straight into the Haunter again. So, very Futurama, these things. Whoops. I accidentally walked in the entrance again. Genuinely didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I would love to have something like this as part of the Jaffa factory. And it may be that these provide means of travel between the floors in lieu of an elevator, or stairs, or something a bit more exciting than stairs. You can have stairs as well, but also have these. So it would be amazing if I could do this without having it touch the walls again. So in the same way, let us go and experiment with whether or not these touch the walls, because it looked like they're not real blocks. So for example, and granted this needs mechanical power to operate, so that's already a bit interesting. But let's just say that this were here, and I had another block. I absolutely can make the entrance vertical. You are correct. Like if I did that, and then I connected that to that, the angle between points is too high. Yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable. Okay, something like that. I mean, it's proof enough that that doesn't connect. That's really all I was interested in. Let me put this actually against the wall as suggested. So can I? There we go. And even that doesn't connect. Amazingly. Yeah, you know, like that sort of thing. Because you could just walk up under that and just go bloop, and it would just suck you up. And from the outside, you cannot tell. None of it's technically a block that connects to the wall. It still needs mechanical power, but that could be from the side. There could be a rod coming up the center here that's a spinning shaft that shafts into that. So there are definitely ways to transfer power to this. So that's also a possibility. So I like that. That's given us our myriad of options. We can have liquids flowing up and down this stuff. We can have shafts for mechanical power. We can have cables for computer data. We can have electrical cables for power. We can have hypertubes for transportation. I'd say that means we're spoilt with options. I wish I knew why these things were different. I don't understand why they're different. Why do they not stack? What is different about your metadata? And it can't be that they just come in stacks of 12, because they come in a stack of 16 when you make them. Oh, what have I done? Input language switching. Typing left alt plus shift changes your input language. You can turn this feature on and off a hotkey. Alt and left shift. Changing between US English and United States English. English Australia and English US. Huh. Interesting. Okay, that was an accident. Right, okay, so let's get rid of most of this stuff, put it in the computer. That's a thing for down the road. It's enough to leave room in the infrastructure for us to be able to do these sorts of things and not do them right now. So, hypertubes and stuff really should be in the create chest. Oh, there's a bit there. It stacks with the other bits. Good to know. Alright. So, these belong back in here. Glass panes can go in there too. Extra brass sheets. More chutes. Extra iron that was in there. Right. Okay. So, that's our premise. Now, in terms of keeping this going, we've got to figure out what's our actual ceiling block going to be, because at the moment it's just been wall, and I'm not necessarily sure of that. Not really sold on that. And then this, of course, is the next level above block, which is just more of that floor. So we can, at this stage, we can at least continue this whole outside bit. What I will want to do is, we've got to put the solid block in for these, which I'll do top and bottom. So let's replace each of these. So we've got that happening. I should also be doing the ceiling at the same time, but we just like running. Maybe if the floor is being black, make the ceiling lighter like white. Yeah. We could definitely do like some sort of a white concrete ceiling. Or something that has that effect to it. Because I don't know that I want just more loco metal sort of ceiling. Like, it's fine to have like big shiny metal walls and stuff, but can't go overboard. We're not made of iron. I mean, we are made of iron, but we're not made of iron. Alright. Should check how many eggs. Should check how many eggs those emus are up to now. Because it will be a lot. They were at 365 when we started. A year's worth of emu eggs. Okay. How you doing, emus? All still scared of the bison? 564. Soon to be 565. Which means you'll have made 200 eggs. Oops. That's not at all what I intended to do. Look at that. I'm gonna have to get that block back now. There we go. Alright, and so yeah, that's a copycat slab, but that's a full block. So that means at the top of these we need to replace each one with a full block as well. Is there a way to do this without falling to our death? Or losing copycat blocks? How does that happen and we don't pick the block up? Trial and error, we'll figure this out. So stand on the actual block. Still doesn't pick it up. That's nuts. Alright. Ow. Oh, because I turned my free runners off at the same time as I did that. Oh, and I've pushed all sorts of buttons now. And I've eaten another carrot. Ah, dear. quickest way to do this is to just break them and then pick up anything that drops afterwards. Okay, and then back the other way. Alright, have to have a quick nap, then we'll go and pick up all the blocks that we've lost. Yep, there we are. It seems like something I should be doing after making the actual floors and ceilings in case I change my mind about the height. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. This is a an extra crispy recipe doing this now, especially considering I haven't populated the floors with anything. I'm just sort of eyeballing what looks like it would make a good height. Wow, all the way over there. The blocks really go flying when you let them. Okay. So, all this edge here can go. So, we can put all these copycat slabs around the outside of everything. And of course the corner is the next thing, because there is no fix for that. Now that I think about this. Oop. Right as we ran out. So that's just going to be what this is. The corners will just have to pinch like that. Something big like a full block. You mean like an actual full block of the stuff? That does not work. Actually, I bet there's a no. It won't connect. Because why would it? There will be, in fact, copycat beam. Does that work? No, copycat beam is central. What's the other one? Copycat something else. So it's not copycat beam. And it won't be copycat wall. That won't do the job. No, that's doing the same thing as beam. Oh, you like the idea of a floating corner thing. Let's have a look. Let's put the texture on it. Pick a colour and put beams on the corners. Put beams on the corners? This is the block that lines up with that stair, though. You'd have to break the corner stairs on everything. Ooh. Okay. Okay, well, let me get rid of that other spammer. Okay. So here's a thought. Oh, not the whole way down just like that. Oh, right, okay. So, the same yellow then, as it is for these things. Could use a different colour. So I've only got 3 colours. I've got the colour of brass wrapped loco metal, which gives me the yellow. Let me get all the wrapped loco metal on display. Wrapped loco metal. So it's these 3 colours. I've got white brass wrapped loco metal, white copper wrapped loco metal, and white iron wrapped loco metal. So the white one with the yellow around it is the brass wrapped one. The white one with the black around it is the iron wrapped one. That's our stairs at the bottom. The only other colour is white copper wrapped, so orange trim as an alternate against these ones. I say only other colour, but as you can see, there are many other colours. It's about the interior that also changes. So these are white wrapped of all these, but I could have light grey wrapped of these, black wrapped of these, orange wrapped of these, you know, like literally every interior colour. But if we're keeping the interior white loco metal, we could wrap it in orange as a little highlight in the corner. I mean, I chose not to use the copper orange ones because we've already got blue and orange themes. Yellow and silver is fine. You can use just about any of those wrapped blocks for a floating corner thing. I mean, honestly, yeah. We really could. So we'll keep it as that for now. But we'll remember that that's a thing that maybe we could have some fun with at some point. That's my phone buzzing. And again. Wow. Alright. So, we'll keep this going for now. Just like... Oops, I'm hitting the mountain. Just like this for now. And it was a... Let's do that. We had a floating wall block there. Oop. Didn't notice we were out of them. Orange on silver, one of those weird ones like yellow and pink. If each floor has a different trim, you'll be able to remember where you parked. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And so this is copycat slab, and we're out of that instantly. So we need 1 million more of them. Okay. So that's zinc. What's with all the chat spammers? It feels like my act of banning them, and I'm assuming that you guys can't see this, because they're coming up as like restricted, not published to this chat. They've got like a little eye with a cross through them. It feels like whenever I click over and ban one, it makes it more likely for another one to appear or something. Like they're driven by engagement. Zinc. So it's the slabs now. Clearly I'm a popular streamer now, indeed. I choose to take that as the message. Yeah, like there's all sorts of things here, right? So like there's copycat bite, which is like a little corner bit. Copycat corner slice, bite panel. Door, folding door. Half panel, half layer, shaft, slice, vertical half layer, vertical step, vertical slice. Like this vertical step could maybe actually fill the corner, or even these diagonal ones. Like we could literally slope our way around the corner. Now that I think of this, copycat step. Yeah. So we need a bunch more of the slabs. Where are they? Slab. Oh, nice. We get 2 for 1. Perfect. But you know, yeah, like that's a viable option too. Rather than having funny floating things, we could just diagonal the corner, because you know, Minecraft and its diagonal blocks. Famous for its orthogonal geometry. Alright, let's put a bunch more of these on. Oh, don't do that. Don't go accidentally missing one. Getting in the zone and just sort of mindlessly clicking now. Oh, whoop. I gotta painstakingly chop 4 of them out. Okay, none of them fell inside somehow. None of them fell to the ground. Amazing. And I can feel it getting darker, so that must mean it's gonna be time to sleep. Let's have a nap on the top there. Trying to imagine a Minecraft game with hyperbolic geometry now. Oof. Games in hyperbolic geometry are already a bit mind-bending. I don't know if I'd like to be able to build Minecraft structures in a hyperbolic Minecraft. That would definitely break the brain a little bit. And it's just traditional roguelite turn-based tile movement. Another one. Whoops. Oh, and we're out of them. Wow, they ran out faster than I expected. We almost got all the way around too. Good thing we've got so much zinc. We're using a lot of it for these copycat blocks. Slab. Enjoying another bit of delicious golden carrot. Oh, wait a minute. We've got an internal corner coming. Wait. Here's something we didn't expect. An internal corner. I'll come back to that in a second. Okay. Alright, so what will happen when we put the copycat wall in here? It's gonna attempt to connect to everything, because of course it's a wall that's now internal. So it's gonna try and do stuff. So we need to do one that's not a wall, because we don't want it to act like a wall. We want to do one of them other things, like beam. There we go. What happens when I put beam in here? There. Beam is literally the same as wall, if I'm being honest. I don't know how that's any different to this. Apart from the fact that they're now sideways compared to each other. Yes, I agree, Katooth. The blue being so close to it is now weird because of all that. Because of having that trim. That does feel weird. It does make a lot of changes though to change it. You know, like if that moves along one, that has to move along one. But if they both move along one, that one there needs to move along one for symmetry. But if that moves along one, this one can't move along one. Because if it does, that has to move along one, which makes that move along one, and then you've broken the back again. So it's a bit of a problem. It works for now. I like that concession. Let's put the coloured bits in. So swap these over now for the coloured bits. And these ones we have to do externally because they are only external. It's a good thing we have a jetpack, isn't it? Could you imagine building anything in survival Minecraft, not in creative mode, and not having some form of creative flight? At least this flight is based on science and resources, so it at least feels like you've got to earn it. Alright, swap that for the blue now. Coming for the next lap. How are we going on time? It's only been 2.5 hours, it's not too bad. We're coming up to 11 o'clock. We did start kind of late. That's a first. There we go. Around it goes. Yeah, acceptable. Okay. And so from there, and this is where it's good to have had 1,000,000 of these in the backpack. And we might just put a bit of juice back in that jetpack. We can imagine a tiny bit of the next layer. We're still deciding on what the floor is, but we can at least imagine a tiny bit of the next layer. Part of the issue as well is going to be lighting. So as soon as we put a ceiling on this, this is pitch black. So lighting is going to be a problem. Now, we do have some lights over in the bookmarked bit here. a light blue inverted lantern, orange inverted lantern. Basically, they're just as a reminder of Project Red illumination as a mod within this mod pack. At Project Red illumination. You know, because we've got all sorts of things. We've got, do these work? Blue inverted Illumar lamps? Yeah, they technically have a recipe. So you got things like that. Smart lamp, I don't know what that's all about. You've got just inverted little fixtures, like white ones as opposed to Jaffa coloured ones. Ones in cages, tall ones in cages, and then these little lantern ones on sticks. Like, they are definitely a thing that can be used to provide light around the place. But this is also a big space, and I feel like it's gonna be dark quick. Like, we might need spotlights on the ground, all sorts of things. When we were looking at performance stuff like using barrels, not chest lighting, got mentioned. You are right, lighting did get mentioned. Hopefully it's not this sort of lighting. Not to use dynamic lights. I have no idea what dynamic lights are. That sounds like a shader texture pack things. They're dynamos. There's nothing dynamic. There's no blocks called dynamic lighting. They're like moving or pulsing lights. Yeah, no, well, these ones are just always on. They're not even switchable. So, swapping this out for some wall. If I just trim this down a smidge, I'm just going to take a layer off the top of this. Why is it always nighttime? Alright, have a quick nap. Hovering when we hop out of bed. We can definitely do that internally. Oh, here we go. What do we got? Frog lights are the best high-performance lag-free light sources in Minecraft, allowing thousands to be placed without straining the game, making them ideal for massive spawn-proof builds. Using trapdoors, carpets, or slabs over glowstone or frog lights reduces the visual clutter of light sources, while maintaining, presumably maintaining the light level they produce and stuff like that. Okay. I do remember frog lights. I think frog lights were the things that we used, in our previous Minecraft build project when we built that entire continent that had some rainbow tunnels underneath it in order to get from one bit to another. I think those rainbow tunnels were frog lights. I will look them up in a sec. Avoid excess entities. Torches and lanterns are entities. Blocking these too many can cause lag. Solid light blocks are generally better for performance. That's fair. Okay, so in other words, keep those lanterns and things like that as decorative ones. Like, still use them, but don't use them everywhere in order to act as a light source. Use them sparingly as a way to highlight things. Whoops. Bam, bam. I don't know what it takes to make frog lights. I'm probably going to discover that it needs some insane crafting recipe. Glowstone, on the other hand, we have infinite amounts of, I think. Oops. I think we have a loop for glowstone. I think it's the loop that we use to get redstone. Because we just haunt glowstone into redstone. So I think grinding torches. Oh. Ah, look at that. Hello. I see you guys peeking over there. Alright. These things are shroom lights, aren't they? Yeah, they're shroom lights, they're not frog lights. Another stack of that. Alright, wall. Oops. There. Copy that wall. That one. Okay, so that's the wall going up. So, let's take that off. Let's stop floating for a moment. Let's get rid of those latest spam chatter things. Shroom lights are blocks with light level 15, so good choices. That's good to hear. Shroom light. Oh wow, and we can get fancy looking shroom lights. So you just got a regular shroom light, which we're just growing infinitely from. So we just have them in infinite supply. But we can also make all these fancy ones by putting it in a botanist workbench. Smooth shroom lights. That's interesting. Shroom light covers. Shroom light facades. That'll be the next thing too. Like. So yeah, smooth shroom light. Frog lights with the white blocks, the three colours used in the Australia. But yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. So we could use like these smooth shroom lights. They might blend somewhere. These are the ones, the fancy lantern looking ones. Otherwise, frog light. Yep. So these are your frog lights. Ochre, verdant, pearlescent, carmine. That's from Alex's Caves. That sounds scary. Otherwise, yeah, oh, Ad Astra, ochre. Yeah, oh, so they're from chipped. So frog lights. Oh dear. Oh, it's not. Oh, not Britannia. Please, not Britannia. Britannia just lets them turn them into each other. So where do they come from? They're literally in caves, probably. Like they're actual blocks in the world. Yep, because the carmine frog-like one's not craftable. Yeah, so that's probably not a good alternative, because I'll probably have to find them. I'll probably have to go hunting them up. What have we got here? A tiny what's this? A tiny magma cube drops a frog. What? Drops a frog light when it is eaten by a frog. There are 3 colors of frog lights that drop depending on what type of frog eats the magma cube. What sort of magic is this? There are videos on setting up frog light farms where frogs eat magma cubes repeatedly. I have never heard of such a thing. We are not doing that. Okay, so frog lights are not the way. So it could be your shroom lights. Glowstone is, of course, the other boring alternative. Because glowstone, which is just glowstone dust, and glowstone dust is just grinding up torches. So that's our glowstone. So we have infinite glowstone. But within that, we can again make these fancy variants. Polished glowstone, look at that. Yeah, so glowstone in a stone cutter. Can make all these glowstoney bits. Yeah, not putting in there. We can, yep, make smooth glowstone. So that might be better than shroom lights. So the smooth shroom light's got a bit of orange to it, whereas the smooth glowstone's got more yellow to it. Orange would get in the way of the Jaffa orange, I think. But the glowstone's a bit more neutral in that regard. Energized glowstone. So, let me just have a little look at glowstone just briefly. We're getting slightly distracted, but that's fine. I'm assuming we've got, yeah, glowstone, here we go. Let me just make 8 of these. And by 8 I mean 32 apparently. It was the, oh, it's the alchemy bench. Well, that's one we don't have. We've got like every other one. Oh, it needs an enchanting table and a brewing stand. Oh no, that needs a blaze rod. Oh dear, okay. Okay. Next thing, when I break glowstone, do I get much glowstone dust back? I get all 4 back. Okay, good to know. Glowstones don't look very industrial. What about copper bulb? I wouldn't have thought that a copper bulb gives off much light. Oh, bulbed glowstone. Bulby sponge. Where's the copper bulb? Why is copper bulb not in the list of things? Yeah, it feels like that's missing. Copper bulb. Also sea lanterns. Well, that's an immediate no. Oh, a sea lantern. Sea lantern. And of course we've got the nice chipped versions of things. Oh, I can actually make it out of prismarine stuff. Put it into a tinkering table. How many tables are there? Prismarine shards, prismarine crystals. Oh, actually, I can haunt lapis into prismarine shards and crystals. I was not expecting that. Huh. But lapis isn't renewable, is it? I think we found that before. There was no good way to get lapis except mining it. Yeah. Yeah, there's ways to get lapis, more efficiently. But at the end of the day, these are all still just ways of turning lapis ore or equivalent into lapis. Yeah. So that's a possibility. Rather than trying to get prismarine crystals from underwater temples, just get lapis. Also, nighttime. But sea lanterns, that feels a bit fancy. Copper bolts needs blaze rods and redstone dust. Yeah, we need to check blaze rods because I doubt we've got that. Nah. We got some. Ooh, black present. We got exactly enough blaze rods. Oh, we've got a brewing stand already. Whew. We got exactly enough blaze rods as what we needed to do something that we needed for them. So there's my brewing stand. Enchanting table. 2 diamonds, 4 obsidians, and a book. I doubt we've just got one of them lying around. No, but we can. Oh, we do have 4 obsidian, technically. Wow. How do I make obsidian? I mean, obviously I know how to make obsidian. Oh, I can turn magma blocks into obsidian. I can crush obsidian into obsidian. That's interesting. Pure daisies, yes. Okay. And magma blocks. I can make out of magma cream. Magma cream. Blaze powder, but we're not doing that. Or are we? Is there a way to get blaze powder? No, it's blaze rods. And there's no other way to get blaze rods. Actually, there are. There are ways to get blaze rods. An iron rod? Rolling machine. I've never seen that before. Roll iron into an iron rod. Heat it in a mixer. It becomes a blaze rod. Blaze powder. That's interesting. That is an enormous loop, though. But I did not realize we could just get blaze stuff like that. Huh. Oh, anyway. Obsidian is also just mining. But... oh yes, we've got the blaze burner. We've been using the blaze burner. Where is it? Yeah, we've been using this blaze burner guy to make our brass. That's what we've been sticking the copper and the zinc into to get brass. So yep, no, we've definitely been doing that. And do we have a book? We do. So we've actually got... and do we have diamonds? We do. So we've actually got what we need to make an enchanting table. Which means we just need a crafting bench. Crafting bench. Alchemy table. Add it to the pile of tables. The ever growing... nope, that's the wrong spot. The ever growing collection of tables. Glowstone. Here we go. We can make fancy glowstones like this one. Smooth glowstone. Ooh. I mean, well, we're not going to tile them, but... yeah. Ooh. Inlaid. Nether engraved glowstone. That's fancy. Some of those look a bit more industrial. Yeah, sure. As long as they all give off the same light level. Fancy glowstone lantern. Like, yeah. You know. The question is, like, where they go. Like, are these inlaid into the floor? They can't go into the walls because you would see them from the outside. So are these blocks in the floor and the ceiling, basically? You know, like smooth glowstone on the floor and like some sort of one of these lanterny ones on the ceiling. Yeah. Let me split the stack in two. Do these ones as smooth and do these ones as like can always change them again. Something like that. And it just gives us, you know, smooth glowstone in the floor that we can do every so often. Sort of thing. We can have stuff like this in the floor to like light the floor up. Is that too like prominent? What's the other one like in the floor? Even though I made the other one for the ceiling. It takes full blocks to stop light, so you can put them behind slabs, carpet, and other half blocks or less, and the light goes through. Interesting. That is interesting. So that would also suggest that yeah, it would work in place of that instead of between them. You're right. You're right. If I replaced a fancier one with one of them ones, that would work. Similarly, you know, ceiling sort of ones and things like that. I'm just wondering. Up on the ceiling here. Oops. Copycat slab. Oh, why is it always the wrong slab? Copycat slab. No. Don't make me there. That sort of slab. Okay, so theory. These blocks here are slabs. That should let that light through into the next level and also act as downlights to this level. Alright? Which would also work with the ground here. I could do the same thing here. I could have slabs in parts on the ground here and have these underneath this on the ground. They don't even have to be fancy, they could just be regular glowstone. You're right, it doesn't look very bright at the moment. We need to wait for night and see what happens. Do some experiments with these things. Where's the sun? The sun's on its way down. Okay, so as a bit of an experiment, we need to see just how much light this sort of stuff gives off. just so we know what we're able to play with. Because yeah, if they're going to be fully buried like this, they just need to look good in the ceiling. Doesn't matter what they look like at the floor then, because we could potentially have them fully under the floor. Is it turned off? There's no such thing as on and off. These are always glowing. They're glowstone. They're not devices. Roof one looks darker than the ground one. Well, I think that's just because it's in the shade. This one's brightest because it's exposed to the sun currently, and they literally are slightly different textures, but they should be identical. Come on, sun. Over that horizon you go. Yes, wow, there's a lot more to the horizon now that I'm up in the air. We were going to check on you to see if you're actually still alive. I fear you're not. The door to your house is open. I reckon you've either wandered off and died, or a zombie has gotten you at some point. I don't think that anyone lives here anymore, which is a little bit sad. Maybe we can rehome someone to live there. It's a black chicken. I saw something there, couldn't work out what it was. Alright, here's our lighting. So, these cast pretty decent light around the place. Like, they're lighting like all the way out to here to some extent. And if I go above, this light is definitely coming through from underneath, which is very good to know. Excuse me. And just to really drive this home... Oh, come on, slabs. Don't do this to me. Okay. That settles it. Excuse me. Lights shine through half slabs and things like that. Perfectly fine. Okay, so get rid of that spammer in the chat yet again. Let's go to sleep then. And let's take that as a win. That we can definitely do something like this with glowstone. Okay. We can figure out at some point which one's a good one to use. But glowstone is plentiful. Glowstone's going to be hidden in the floor, visible in the ceiling. And so it's enough to know that this is going to work. And then we can just have like little decorative lights and things. For the sake of appearances. Okay. So if my floor is completely made of upper slabs, you are right, Katooth. Excuse me. If the floor is completely upper slabs, we could have entirely glowstone underneath it. However, to do that, it would need to be copycat slabs. And if it's copycat slabs, it cannot be copy-pasted in the copy-paste gadget, which means we would have to build the entirety of the floor every time, which I'm not keen about. But if it's just every couple of blocks, then when we copy paste the floor, it will be those every couple of blocks that don't copy, which we would have to manually do. So I think we can make a little geometric pattern of them in the ceiling and in the floor, which will be a job for a future stream. But yeah, I don't think we want them everywhere. Isn't there a black slab that doesn't need to be copied? I'm sure there is, but it's not a flint block. Unfortunately, these flint blocks, the flint block and then the flint tile slab. Wait. Also vertical tile slab. So I could put them under every tile one. And they would still copy. Let me be right back. I just need to get to a crafting bench. So okay. So conceivably, there we go. So conceivably, something like that. Under every single one of these flint tile upper slabs, there's a glowstone block, and all of that's copy pastable, because that's not weird copycat blocks or anything. That's just normal blocks. So we can copy paste that to make floors. So I think that would be genius. I'm going to leave that buried under there. Good job, Katooth. I had no idea about that, because I thought that they were the only two versions of the block, because I dismissed like all these other ones. I didn't even think of a slab for that. Okay. Right. Well, that's been a good detour into lighting. We are going to be running out of time soon. So what I wanted to do before we call it a wrap is clear a bunch of this stuff out of my inventory. That. Random dirt. Let's put them glowstone lamps in there too. And that stuff is just build up 2 more layers of wall, because I've still got that in the copy paste gadget. I can just hit paste on. Put that in there. And we're back up to 1.1k iron, so that's fine, because I need to do another stack of that. There we go, down to 500 iron again. How much iron's over here? Like 1200, that's fine. Just double check we don't have anything sitting in the wings waiting here or here, do we? No, that's fine. These are our blaze burners. Blaze burner for our brass. So we've got blaze burners. And checking in on this. Oh. Okay, so andesite and diorite are actually going down. They were closer to 10k, now they're just below 9k, so they're slowly going down. Granite is skyrocketing, and cobble is slowly going down. So we can take one off granite, and all the others slowly go down. Okay. There we go. Alright, so Loco metal. So riveted Loco metal becomes slashed Loco metal. Stack of white dye. And we need a stack of brass again. Which is fine, we can dip into our supplies a bit. Okay, so that's way more than we need. But we should be able to paste 2 more levels on everything now. As long as we aim this carefully, don't do it on the wrong level. Bam. There we go. That's 2 more levels of wall on everything. And we surely don't have enough for another one. No, we don't. Okay, but that sort of got things started with the appearance of our ridge for our next level and things. We can decide another time just how high the next floor goes. We should remove these blocks from here. Come up with some sort of a plan for a ceiling here. I may as well, while we've got it's cold here. Ah, I even saw that was going to happen. I'm just going to extend a little bit of that kind of entry path in further, because we're going to have that flow through the whole floor of the Jaffa factory anyway. Oh, it's bedtime. Chowing down on another golden carrot. 69 of them left. Trim this a little bit. Don't really know how far in it's going, but going to happen eventually. Okay, so there's a bit more of entranceway coming in over here, so it's going to cut off this way and that way at some point. That's all for next time. It's going to cut off this way a bit. I guess I can find the middle and work that out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. If it's 4 blocks wide, that's 20, so 10 either side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that should be the middle. Will the paths be darker because it won't be slabs? That's probably the case. Let's see. Loco metal. There's like no slab version of Loco metal. It could be copycat slabs and stuff like that. Yes, I'll still have ceiling lights, and the radius of the lights is pretty decent. Really, it's okay if there's a little bit of gradient to the light. It doesn't have to be perfect. Really. So that's the path this way. Paths on that side is going to depend upon the structure there. So let's put this back in the bag. That and that back in the bag. And let's just take a moment to think about ceiling blocks. So we were thinking something white once upon a time, like white concrete or something. Like if I type in white, there's just pages and pages of white. Kind of white wool. Like there is just straight up white concrete. Like we could just have full on white concrete, or all of these variants of white concrete. White shulker boxes, white rock candy, white radon lamps. So they're chipped textures of white wool, white sand, terracotta tile. Yep. So these are the textured version of the white concrete. Of course, there's like white lamps, which is not going to work. There's our Loco metal. White concrete again. White shingles, white packed silt. We're not doing that. I mean, white concrete, or one of these variants of white concrete, is probably fine. White concrete powder, white dye. Like, this is easy. We can make white concrete. We've got the technology. White concrete powder. white concrete powder, which we have to wet in order to become actual white concrete. And then we'll go and check it out in the chipped table, see how the variants tile, and then we have to see whether fancy glowstone lanterns or just smooth glowstone or some other variant of that would look good as a ceiling light within it. Okay, so that's really the texture we're looking at. So obviously just plain old white concrete is white concrete. We could have like concrete bricks. Don't want that sort of stuff. Mosaic white concrete might be interesting. It doesn't tile like it tiles, it doesn't stretch. Yeah, stacked white concrete. Grill white concrete's too non-white. White concrete panel does do that sort of thing, which will be interrupted constantly by the lights. Pegged stuff. Smooth one just puts a bit of an edge on it, as opposed to fully white concrete with no edge. So smooth is a contender. So is panel for a bit more inlaid. Ooh, that one hurts the head. Hey. Wide white concrete sounds interesting, but doesn't look real good. No, I can't have that. Can't have that. That's our road. That's our medium strip down our road. Hazard lines. Railed. That's actually the one that's our medium strip, just colour inverted. Reinforced white concrete. Warning. I'll have a look at what this panel one looks like, and then we might default back to the smooth one. Let me just turn a bunch of that into panel. Get the smooth ones out of the inventory. Forgetting. I'm forgetting already how frequent my pattern is. So if this was fully saturated with light, you know, is this way too busy? So I'm matching that against the floor here. Like, is it just the right amount, or does it need to be like every excuse me, every other one? Get rid of that chat spammer again. Ban. Alright. Yeah, so from underneath, yeah, it could be fine. It also does feel slightly low, but I mean, we're going to pretend that I didn't say that. And it gives off tons of light. And if you're on the upper side, It currently gives off tons of light because, of course, it's just straight through things. Are machines going to fit in these rooms? Well, on this ground level, maybe not, but the ground level is the facade. The ground level is like what the patrons come in and see, but it's not necessarily anything real. The upper levels are going to have things that should have more height to them to do things. But yes. So this gives tons of light even at night time. And this would work even over top of this, right? This is going to give us light over here. And so if I just go up to the top briefly, and we get out flint blocks as well as flint slabs. So we're getting like this level of light coming through the floor, which is matching this level of light coming from the ceiling, and there would also be light coming from the floor if we put this under everything. Like you get like double light sort of thing. Doesn't look it doesn't look overly bright from excessive lights though, because they don't look like lights. Because they don't look lights. Yeah, it just looks like weird sort of like, it's almost like a 3D effect. It's almost like sort of holes in the ceiling. Yeah, they don't look lit up. Yeah, no, I know. It's sort of, it's weird how that happens. If I swap some of them out for this, you know, just to add a bit of texture to what's going on. You know, could have like the alternating pattern of lanterns and stuff with these, and kind of do some sort of a pattern with, you know, with alternate types. So not just the smooth glowstone, but maybe bring in some of these other types as well in there, just to kind of vary this up. Otherwise, that just works very nicely with the concrete panel. I'd say copy paste that pattern, and if you don't like the checkerboard, try it with a different colour. That's fair. We certainly could. And we've got to remember that under the floor, currently, the only ones that are actually lit up under the floor are these two, right there. Those two are flint slabs. The rest are not. None of these have got lights under them. It's just these two. So this is like maximum light right here. This is maximum brightness. Even over here is not maximum brightness. So, but yeah, let's explore a copy paste. Let's just put these back to how they were. Let's do a little copy paste. We're going to need a ton more glowstone and a ton more of this white concrete panel. But we could definitely do a copy paste here. We would lose our copy paste of the walls, but that's fine. We can always get another one. I will sleep, just because it's going to take us a bit of time to get this going, and this will be the last thing we do because we're coming to midnight now. So Let's get a bunch more glowstone. Oh. Okay. Maybe this is a job for next time. 4 glowstone dust makes a glowstone. And we have to crush 1 torches, 1 glowstone. So 4 stacks of torches will make a stack of glowstone blocks. But 4 stacks of torches is 1 stack of coal and 1 stack of sticks. Okay, so it's not actually as bad as it sounds. So 1 of these to make the charcoal. There's 2 more stacks of white concrete, which we've got to wash. Okay, that's charcoal. So now we need that to be matched with a stack of sticks. So a stack of sticks, stack of charcoal, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just need those to be ground up. In the big grindy wheels. Bam, 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 bam. So torch is getting ground up. And that should be giving us glowstone. Perfect. Oops. Briefly got haunted there for a minute. Wait for the concrete to finish washing. Okay. Put that in this bench to become that one. Okay. So we've got a ton of that again now. I'll just change these. No, it's this one. Change these to the smooth ones just so that they're all the same thing. This should be done now. Yep. There we go, so there's another stack of glowstone, which we can change into the smooth glowstone. Okay. And then a bunch of flint blocks and these flint tile slabs. Okay, so copy paste gadget. Copy mode. So we need to copy like a little segment here, like from one, two, three, four, one, two, So from here to here. That. Just to get the tiling of it going. Yep, okay. And of course I've got to, because of which way I did this. Yeah, I looked at this weird when I started doing this. I've got to do like an offset for this or something. So settings menu? Yeah. Yeah, just like that, I think. Confirm. Like that. Build. Nope. That was a mistake. Of course that was a mistake. Undo. I also want to have it come out one that way. Like, no, not that way. Not that way. That way. There we go. Like that. So, like that. And like that. And like that. And like that. So next time we will have a look at this and see if this looks any good. Just laying down a bunch of it. Okay, that's enough, and then we'll be out of those blocks if we do any more. So again, remembering that, and maybe I'll take up the ones from under the floor just so that we don't get confused with the extra light from them. Yes, I'm using the slabs. Have you checked if there is a cave under your factory? I have not, and I'm almost certain that there is. I hate when I'm building a secret basement and there is a spider dungeon in the way. Oh yeah, there is almost certainly already a cave under there. So we will deal with that another time. That's gonna be its own problem. But that, so coming into the Jaffa factory, you know, it's an interesting sort of effect. There might be too much of it. It might need to be every second one, every other square. We'll see what it looks like when it gets darker. In fact, it's getting darker now, so we might just hang around, see what it looks like when it gets darker, and go from there. we do also need a thumbnail. So maybe we come up here. We get this sun setting shot. Somewhere in there is the thumbnail. One of those shots there. Okay. So we got plenty of light up the top here. Obviously, because this is all just coming through the slabs here. And for the underneath, you know, yeah, like compared to just the darkness of night over here, which is slowly getting even darker, this is well and truly lit, and this is only like half lit sort of thing, because as I said, it would come up from under the ground as well. So, you know, it certainly provides enough brightness to be operational on the inside. It's got that going for it. I'm not keen on having a light meet the wall like that. So I think if we do swap it back to being like every second sort of thing, we can have this row of no lights, and then on this row every second light, then on this row of no lights, and on this row every second light. As long as that carries through to the end, that would work. So that would be lights on this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and then this one. Perfect. Maybe just take out the edge row. Yes, well, certainly, yes. So at least do that. I'll still have the slab blocks on the top, that's fine. We can have like a little secret hole in there. Secret slab sized hole. You know, that way it doesn't get to the edge as much. We don't sacrifice much lighting. We don't get a lot of darkness at the edge there. What would it look like if we only had every alternate one like that? So if I put a bunch of this back in, yeah, that's definitely too sparse now. That feels too sparse. What's with the spam chatters? They must come out after midnight. Close those ones. Oh, it's because the building is L-shaped. Don't take it out to a square pattern. Take it out to make rows that turn the corner. True. Whatever I do, it's going to need to be like a corner suitable pattern as well. So that's its own thing to have to deal with. But yeah, I don't think I like the sparseness of this. Could have like just a missing row. Like just have it like that much and stripes going down that way. That might be okay. Oh, what am I doing? And of course I'm going to be out of concrete blocks very quickly doing this. But, you know, that sort of effect. Let me, nah. We'll be here all night if we go stealing from things and fixing that. But something to this effect. Something with, like, you know, just stripes of lights that run down this way and turn the corner. In terms of above, you know, it still works. And in terms of turning the corner, so we'd still have this one, right? We've got lights under that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, right? So this strip has lights in it. And so if we keep this going through here, so this has lights, and so does this. So it's not perfectly aligned, it is slightly offset, which might be a little bit annoying. These lights come through and go down this way. These lights come through as well and go down this way. Yeah. But that's fine. That's a next time problem to work out what we're doing. I think we're onto a winning set of materials though. I do think white concrete panel and smooth glowstone, for the way they look like they've sort of like these little embossed edges and things, I think that's the correct choice. You get the dark floor, you get the light ceiling, you get the colours striping up. I like the way that they sort of tuck up into them. I think that's the right kind of effect. So let's have a nap. Get rid of all of these mobs that must be spawning out there somewhere. And that's going to do us for this time, I think. Yeah. Again, a good big design for a good big empty factory. I'm constantly torn between, should I be building the factory, like the framework of the factory and the floors and levels, and have it fully empty and then start to fill it, or should I be building like just the walls up enough, start filling things in the floor, like putting in the factory what's going to be in the factory, then, you know, roofing that off and doing another layer and so on and so forth, or like do a bit of both, do everything at the same time. I'm really not sure. I don't know what the best plan of attack would be for that sort of thing. You can tell it's getting late because I had to think for a good 10 seconds there what the hotkey was to turn that off. Ooh, you can really see the factory starting to take shape now. What's it look like on the map? It's got like a number 1 inside there. Much the same as before, except now, I'd like it because we've used a couple of whole blocks in there, where instead of the copycat blocks, you can now actually see the coloured strips. Also, has that dirt still not turned to grass? How is that still dirt? And also, underneath the copycat blocks, underneath the copycat stairs, you can see what's grass and what's dirt. And what stone? Oh dear. Never mind. Let's try not to look at that. So, let's step back a bit. Whoop, there we go. Nice work, everyone. We have built ourselves, basically, the exterior of the first floor of the Jaffa factory, and a decent portion of sort of what the roof's going to look like. Next week we should be back again. I don't see any reason why we can't be back again next week at this stage. And we'll continue on with some of our construction projects. Skeevers may or may not be with us tomorrow night doing her own stream. If she is, she might be doing some scary games, going back to some of her roots again, assuming I can get all that set up in time for her. And if not, she might just start that next week. But stay tuned for that, for Skeever Shenanigans tomorrow night. And for now, I think we wrap that up there and say a big thank you to everyone for watching. That was another stream that was Overthunk by Sharky. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.